It is raining quite heavily here in Beijing. Kazuki Sims on pole, followed by Akari Lopez and R1 Beijing. Laundry Zaholi starts 4th from Brock Walker and Ouroboros Shirakumar. Wisdom Chijoke starts 7th, followed by Guillermo Perez and Tanner Bentley, with Max Goat, Dion Chindika, and Jelly Antonelli rounding out their top 12. Vivelos Sasaki starts 13th from Jackson G's and Daniel Ortega, then comes Lam Fong, Mattias Haas Jr., and Romeo Matthew. Grace Hunter starts 19th from Mugen Motorsport, followed by Dong Su and Dominic Vansler. Then comes Arnold Yu, Tommy Yu, and Viter Alves. Full wet weather tires on all 24 cars to start Season 4 of the FG Series as all the lights go on. We go green in Beijing. It's a good getaway off the line there for Akari Lopez. A better getaway there from the overworld number 16 of R1 Beijing, trying to get past the Filipino driver in front of him. We go on board of that 16 now, as here comes Laundry Zaholi steaming down the inside. Kazuki losing the lead for a moment there. Beijing will hold on coming through turn number 2. It's Sims from Lopez and Nijimura, but still they're going side by side up front. The Mugen car going down the inside of the condo. And for Kazuki Sims, he's going to have to relinquish that race lead now to the Season 15 Formula E champion, Akari Lopez from Sims and Zaholi. Look at Brock Walker trying to keep it alongside with Ouroboros Shirakumar and with R1 Beijing, and just about takes 4th place there from the Japanese driver in that 16 car. They're going to keep it side by side. Almost got his nose chopped off as we've got a caution for Guillermo Perez and Wisdom Chijoke. The first caution of the season, and it comes by the hands of the same driver who caused the only safety car of the preseason test race. Guillermo Perez once again coming to blows with a Tricon car. This time it's the 7 of Wisdom Chijoke. The rookie set the fastest time in the first part of the preseason test. And he's actually missing part of his front wing there. Let's see him coming through the penultimate corner as we go green again. He is missing the left-hand side of his front wing as we go on to lap 2 of 14. And Sims looking very racy as they come through turn number 1. A bit of contact though, going over the curbs. Needs good traction, but we get a safety car, and it's for Brock Walker. Down at turn 1. Let's see if we can find this with Lam Fong, and he's just gone straight on. Down at turn 1. Safety car comes out for the rookie. You know what they say, cautions do tend to breed cautions. Running down your order, Mugen's number 5, Akari Lopez leading the pack, followed by Kazuki Sims, Takahana, and Laundry Zaholi. And that number 97 from Albania won the last FG Series race in Fuji. Of course, different cars, and he was driving for a completely different team. But it looks like the pace has just not left this man. R1 Beijing, the highest placed rookie, running up in 4th, with the other trackhouse of Ouroboros Shirakumar running in 5th. Max Goat, currently 6th, followed by Tanner Bentley, this man Dion Chindika, Vivelos Sasaki, Jelly Antonelli, Jackson Cheese. And despite staying out with that wing damage, Wisdom Chijoke is still in that top 12. A reminder, every finisher will score at least 1 point in an FG Series race. Points go down to 12th in Formula E and IndyCar, but here in the FG Series, everyone gets at least 1. Fastest lap goes to Akari Lopez, a 1:38.014, as they will now catch up to the back of the pace car. You're looking at the Yu siblings of Tommy and Arnold as they come through the final corner, driving for Good Heart Racing. And that outfit's actually been on a bit of a downward spiral ever since the initial closure of the FG Series. Their time in IndyCar saw many podiums, not as many wins or even title challenges. And as it stands right now, they would be scoring between the team 9 points, but when there's 30 points on offer for just the win, obviously not great. The rain's still falling quite hard here in the first round of the ERL FG Series in Season 4. Kari Lopez, who is far and away the most experienced driver in the field, leads them behind the safety car. And what I'm wondering right now is, will Tricon Garage pull in that number 7 car? Well, if they wanted to, they needed to do it earlier than right now, because if they do pull him in, he'll rejoin down in 22nd. We've seen the pace from this kid, though. He does have speed in that ERL Beta car, or Alpha, whatever Greek symbol it is. And the rain is clearing up somewhat. It's not as hard as it was at the start of the race, but it still very much is raining. Don't expect dry compound tires anytime soon as we come through the penultimate corner at the end of lap 3 of 14. Lopez has been here before, leading a race in wet conditions under caution period. He's done it multiple times. He did it en route to a championship back in season 15. As we begin lap 4 of 14. Ian Mugen Motorsport looking at a very good points haul. Even with 17th for Grace Hunter, that's still 38 points on the board, leaving round 1. I think Trackhouse Racing might actually be the team scoring the most points, though, if it were to finish as is. And while it is arguably a bit early to start talking about the championship, it all really does start with the first race, quite obviously. Coming through the second sector now. And as you can tell, the safety car has bunched together the whole field. We saw in the initial full course yellow restart that the man in the 4 car, Kazuki Sims, had a very, very strong getaway. Could have made the pass if it wasn't for the fact that the safety car basically came out immediately after. So you're going to be wanting to look out for the man in that 2 car. Through the part of the track that took out Guillermo Perez. And again, you'll notice Tricon keeping out the number 7 behind Jackson G's. Wisdom Chijoke still out there with that broken front wing. Maybe they don't think it's too major, but we saw when looking through the entire field at the moment of safety car, there was a substantial gap between Jackson G's and Wisdom Chijoke, so that is going to hinder the car's performance due to a lack of downforce, and of course just overall affecting the way the car goes through the air. But the safety car is now ending at the end of lap 4. The rain seems to be letting up a bit. Is anyone going to come in? Well, into the pits then for Kari Lopez. Is that going to be the entire top 10 coming in, as it was during the preseason test race? It is going to be Jackson G's for Junior Motorsports, who will lead us back to green. Here in China, we're green again, with Jackson G's at the head of the pack, and they're going on to soft compound tires in the pits. Look at Danny Ortega looking for the pass on Wisdom Chijoke already. Really a sitting duck in that 7 car. We right on board with Matthias Haas Jr. as Ortega takes second. Here comes the Argentinian to try and take third. The track is still most definitely wet. Certainly intermediate conditions though, as the rain has well and truly stopped. On board with Romeo Matthew. And it is Nijimura who has come out of the pits in first place. And that is Wisdom Chijoke trying to hold it side by side with, I think, multiple cars there. And there's Romeo Matthew going through, and that's contact into the wall again for Wisdom Chijoke. That's more front wing damage for that rookie driver in the 7. And at that point, you just gotta think to yourself, is it time that you pull it into the pits? Get it fixed up. Because as it stands, it is a tall mountain to climb back up to even the top 12. Dong Su in the 10 car on the back of Dominic Vancelau being hunted by Grace Hunter. Just taking a look at Radon Nijimura and Max Goat, they don't seem to be going too quick. The top 10 seem to be coming down to the pits now, with Wisdom Chijoka at the very back of that. In comes that 7 car, but we saw in the test this was indeed the optimal strategy move, because by pitting early, your tires stay cold as there's still standing water on the track. Nijimura coming across the line then. Jackson G's still at the head of the pack. Fastest third sector though for the Japanese driver. He sees Romeo Matthew right in front of him. And it's really shaking up the order. As Landra Taholi right behind Vita Alves. 4 drivers opting for the soft compound tyres after that switch onto the dry compounds. Those being Jelly Antonelli, Grace Hunter, Max Goat, and Radon Nijimura. So that's 6th, 8th, 10th, and 18th, all going for the fastest compound of tyres in the Hankook tyre range. And Akari Lopez, who was leading before the safety car ended, now finds himself all the way down in 17th place. Jackson G's, with those hard compound tyres, might find himself in total control of this race. Well, he would have, if it weren't for 2 things. Braking way too hard going through. There's still being standing water on the track. And this man, Demi Ortega, being 6/10 behind. Pass is very much still possible, as that's Chijoke once again in the walls and in the wars. He's been given a 5-second time penalty for contact with this man, Landra Taholi. This time, neither of them receiving major damage to their front wings. But again, it's just a scruffy opening race for these drivers in the FG Series. Here's the 97 and heading down into the penultimate corner. No pass to be made. As these tyres, you can see, getting very squirrely. Radon and Maxa both into the pits though, as we are halfway through. Ortega 3/10 back now as Sim sets a new fastest lap in 10th place. Thinks about the move, heading down into the hairpin, almost gets his nose chopped off. And we'll have to wait later on in the lap for a pass. Could see Vancelau on his own, running in 6th place with Chijoke. Despite the time penalty, currently fastest in the opening sector. He's gotten past Sims, which is good news for Tricon Garage. Although that 5-second time penalty would drop him outside of even these top 14, I want to say. Ortega losing time coming out of that long corner, coming out of the sharp left-hander. A lot of drivers like referring to it as a snail, and maybe I should start doing that too. 3/10 margin as they come through the hairpin. And now through the final corner to begin lap number 8. They both stay out with hard tyres that can certainly go quite some distance. Ortega, new fastest lap of 1:22. Well, Lam Fong takes it away then. Romeo Matthew goes even quicker. And this is just because almost contact there for the Spaniard. Christian Bentley further back, getting a 5-second time penalty for contact with Ouroboros Shirakumo. But for Danny Ortega, he almost collected the Junior Motorsports car in front of him through the hairpin again. And once again, losing a ton of time. In fact, dropping about 1.5 seconds now. And now Lam Fong is all over the back of that pink Sarah Fisher Hartman racing car. Jelly Antonelli fastest in the final sector. So let's look back with that one car. Is Lam Fong really thinking about a move here, or is he just staying right behind? It's the only division with any form of overtaking aid. As we head down this back stretch, see that rear wing open up. Attack mode for Lam Fong. He's going to go side by side into the hairpin. He edges in front and will take 2nd place. So it's all eyes to Overworld Grand Prix to try and deny Jackson G's of a race win on debut in the FG Series. Well, he comes down into the pits in any case. Lam Fong also down into pit lane. Romeo Matthew in the other Junior Motorsports car will lead us to lap number 9. Dongsu comes in, Chijoke and Alves also into the pits. This seems to be the point in time where a lot of the teams are happy to make that second stop. The Hards not going as far as I personally would have thought them to go, because as you can see, after just 3 laps, the state of Arnold used hard compound tires seem, well, quite useless. Launches are wholly fastest in the final sector of this lap. The fastest lap currently held by Grace Hunter. That is an extra 3 points to the driver who holds it. So the man in 6th, instead of scoring 19 points, he would be scoring a grand total of 22 after this opening round. It's a 1-2 for Junior Motorsports though. Romeo Matthew from Germany, followed by his teammate from the Philippines, Jackson G's. Then comes Danny Ortega, who won out in the pit lane in front of Lam Fong. Oh, Alves. Weiter Alves. Getting a 5-second time penalty for contact with Maxer Goat, and he has dropped quite significantly down the field here. Romeo Matthew coming down into the pits. I wonder if that contact has anything to do with the fact that now Maxer is far away from the Kondo racing car that he was battling with. Launches a wholly thought about making a move though, and it just will not happen. 3 seconds to margin out in front with 4 laps to go. That gap is closing down. It's now 1.9, 1.8. That Sarah Fisher car looking very quick in the opening 2 turns, but then the exit just never really picking up for Danny Ortega. Look at Vivla Sasaki holding it side by side with Akari Lopez. This 5 car will take 13th place. Tanner Bentley right behind, ready to pounce and get past the Nunez Race Tech in front of him. But Garcia, his team, just unable to get Sasaki up into 13th again, despite the Japanese driver thinking about the move. So as they come through the end of the second sector now, that gap between Sasaki and Lopez has opened up wildly. 1.1 seconds to margin between the race leaders as we are about to go on to lap 11 of 14. Fastest lap of the race now belongs to race leader Jackson G's, taken by Danny Ortega, who goes a 10th and a half faster, 120.4 from that 1 car. He's ready to go after this race win if he can. Although with the fastest lap points, second place is actually worth as much. We've got yellows down in sector 3, and it's for Ouroboros Shirakumo and Tommy Yu. The 77 finding himself up in the wall, but getting it back on the road. Arnold Yu there, seemingly getting involved in that for no reason at all. You can see a somewhat slow-moving Kazuki Sims down the straight. And I do mean somewhat. Matthias Haas Jr. running up in 5th. You can see Radon Nishimura with the fastest first sector of this race so far in 13th place. That could help him score a few more points. Not the greatest exit though for both Jackson G's and Danny Ortega as they come through the penultimate corner. 1.7 seconds for gap into the pits for the 1 car and for the 88. It's going to be a battle down in pit lane then for Junior Motorsports and for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing. Lam Fong, Grace Hunter, Matthias Haas Jr. all into the pits. So it's Romeo Matthew who takes the lead. Jackson G's there out in front of Danny Ortega. So no shakeups in the order there. The margin between the two Junior Motorsports teammates seems to be about 10 seconds as Jackson comes out of the pits. And Ortega there might have lost a second down in pit lane with 2 laps to the white flag. And we've got yellows down in Sector 1, and that is Dion Chindika and Jelly Antonelli wrecking down this main straight. The 19 still sideways, gets it pointed in the right direction though. Akari Lopez got it a bit squared up as well. Went green again, but major front wing damage to the number 9 of Jelly Antonelli. The Dion Chindika a lot less. Likely hence the 5-second time penalty. But these young drivers, man, do they like giving each other a bit of a rough and tumble in those cars. It's like even banging and roughing them up like it's NASCAR, but of course, you don't have the same rigidity in these open wheel cars. We go on to the penultimate lap of this race, and we've got another yellow, and it's for once again Winston Chijoke. We've got a caution and a red flag coming out. There's a lot of drivers and a lot of debris on the track. Sims with wing damage as well as Shirakumo and Chijoke. Wow. The rain returns as the 5 red lights come back on. All 5 lights on. And we are back underway on the penultimate lap of this Beijing eTrophy in the ERL FG Series. And once again, it's a great getaway from the man who starts in second, Jackson G's this time. Now losing out as they come through turn 1. Romeo Matthew, the rookie driver, forcing his teammate to go a little wider. That might give Danny Ortega a better line coming out of turn 2 as Lam Fong has to lift off a little. It's side by side between the two Junior Motorsports cars, the 8 and the 88, touching rear tires there. Jackson G's with the inside line. Can he make that the race lead? No, he cannot. At least not yet. Loses a lot more time coming through. Lam Fong right there behind him. Can he take second place? No, he can't, because he's still right there, tucked up behind the Junior Motorsports car in front. It's Romeo Matthew from Jackson G's and Lam Fong. Look at Matthias House. Junior contact there into the wall for the number 93. The Cooper Revolt sponsored car drops down to 11th place, has front wing damage. I believe that's been labeled as a racing incident, which is totally understandable. Here comes Jackson. Going down the inside of the penultimate corner. They touch wheels. Almost forcing each other off the road. Jackson G's takes the lead here in China as we come through the final corner to begin the current lap. 1 to go. Lap 14 of 14. And it's another yellow. It's Landry Zaholi spinning off into the wall. And I think Tommy Yu involved in that as well. He is down in 22nd and last now in that 77 car. Track limits warning for Danny Ortega further up the road. It's all kicking off in these late stages of this race. They bring back out the wet compound tires, and this is what happens to the racing. Here comes the 1, looking to the inside. Won't quite happen yet for you though. And out in front, half a second the margin. Will Romeo Matthew think about getting past his teammate? Because for both of them, this is a first race win in their first start that they are fighting over. And if they get tangled up, this could easily go to Lam Fong. It looked like a move down the inside for Romeo Matthew. He's lost a ton of time by doing that. And in doing so, he might have just given this race to the number 88, or Bora Shirakumo, with the fastest second sector of anybody. Look at Jelly Antonelli there, defending from Tanner Bentley. But with a margin that seems almost unimaginable considering how this race started, as Winston Chijoke makes the lunge down the inside. Vancelau lunges further. We've got yellow down in the third sector for Grace Hunter. We will come back to you on that as Jackson G's will come across the line to win in round 1 in season 4. Yellow still out in that final sector of the track as Dong Su found himself in the wall. It's Grace Hunter facing backwards though in the number 6 Mugen Motorsport car, and he finds himself dropping down the order. touching there, the Albanian number 97 in Leandro Zaholi, in what has to be said, a thrilling first race in this FG Series season. And here is your podium. A fantastic race there from Junior Motorsports as an organization sees Jackson G's in his first ERL start take home the win in the number 88 car with teammate Romeo Matthew alongside. Third place going to Lam Fong on the last step of the podium, and on the other side will be the rest of the finishing order. And with that, here is your official finishing order from today's race. Jackson G's taking home the first win of Season 4, followed by Romeo Matthew and Lam Fong. Then came with the fastest lap, Daniel Ortega, Dominic Vanslauer, Wisdom Chijoke, Max Ago, Radon Nijimura, countryman Kazuki Sims, and his countryman Ouroboros Shirokuma running out the top 10. Dongsu and Akari Lopez make the top 12, followed by Viter Alves and Matthias Haas Jr. Then came Arnold Yu, Jelly Antonelli, Tanner Bentley, Vishal Sasaki, Dion Chandika, and Leandro Zaholi. Tommy Yu and Grace Hunter round out your finishers, with Gamal Perez and Brock Walker unable to see the checkered flag after their own respective incidents pretty early on in the race. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, you'll notice it is relatively the same as the finishing order from today, although due to the fact that the fastest lap point is worth 3 points and not just one, Daniel Ortega finds himself level on points with Lam Fong, only losing out on countback, and of course by not finishing, Gamal Perez and Brock Walker both fail to score any points after a race that, despite the many caution periods, we saw every flag come out today. This is what the constructors looks like as a result. Junior Motorsports moving away from Overworld Grand Prix and Tricon Garage, then came Condo Racing, Truly Grand Prix, Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing, Nunez Race Tech, Grand Slam Motorsport, Trackhouse Racing, Mugen Motorsport, Goodhart Racing, and España Palomino Racing. With that all said and done, thank you so much for watching here on Spark Plug Motorsport 2, this first round of the ERL FG Series, and we will see you guys next time then when the Electric Racing League returns.